Tonight, a black man was bitten by a shark.
Was he that? More on that tonight at 11. Alright.
What's up? Hello and welcome everyone to the First Crack Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bad, along with my co-host.
So how are we introducing the topic?
Oh,
Because it's such an interesting... I said you introduce the
I
topic.
will.
Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Please, I want to do this in 10 minutes. Okay.
You do that.
Thank you.
You do that.
Hello and welcome to the First Crack Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Bad, along with my co-host, Soso, the incomparable Soso, aka my daughter. What's up, Soso?
What's up?
Here at the First Crack Podcast, we're going to be talking about everything coffee, newsworthy, funny topics, music, anything that we probably talk about just while we're sipping a cup of
Coffee.
Bad Beans coffee.
This episode of the First Crack Podcast is brought to you by Bad Beans Coffee. Bad has never tasted so good. Are you tired of boring, bland coffee? Well, look no further than Bad Beans Coffee. Coffee so bad, it's good. And with a unique blend of flavors and the freshest beans, you'll never have a dull cup of coffee again. Most coffee's dull, but not Bad Beans Coffee. So why wait? Try Bad Beans Coffee today and experience the deliciousness of Bad like never before. And for sure, your taste buds will say, ah, so good it's bad. So bad it's good. Yeah, and all that stuff. So check out Bad Beans Coffee. Bad has never tasted so good.
One of these topics, and I was bringing it up right before we got started. One of these topics, I was asking my daughter Soso here, I said, do black people get bit by sharks? And of course she looked at me like I was crazy, a little perplexed. And so I said, no, I'm being serious. Do black people get bit by sharks? Because I was watching Shark Week like I do every year, and I'd never seen a black victim from a shark attack. And it got us thinking a little bit. She laughed, I laughed, we all laughed. But then really, seriously, do black people get bit by sharks? That's the question of the day. I have yet to see it. So we decided we'd do a little bit of research. Let me tell you what I found so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Who gets attacked by sharks the most? So countries where the most shark attacks are recorded, first off, are the US, Australia, South Africa, Brazil, New Zealand, Mexico, Papua New Guinea, and the list will go on. Okay. The US coming in with 1,215, Australia with 315, South Africa with 202, Brazil with 88, New Zealand with 42. Now I would think actually South Africa, especially because they have a huge great white population, should we say, would be on and cracking with that. Mm-hmm. I think they would have a lot more probably than the US. But then again, if you're talking about like states like Florida or something like that, it would be a little bit different. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this whole debacle here. Serious. Do black people get bit by sharks? Well, it says, do sharks attack white people more? Okay. Great white attacks or shark attacks are more likely to happen to white Caucasians by 95%. This is a statistic that has been in place since 1580 to 2010. This is like an old stat I'm seeing. But even still, it's an old stat, and that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I think because I'm looking over here at the victim activity of what people are doing, and most of it, the top two is surfing or board sports, which is 61%, and swimming and / wading, which is 22%. The rest is just playing, snorkeling, and scuba diving, but that's 4%, and 5%. And Not gonna lie, you don't really see black people doing too many board sports.
I was about to say that. Thus their lies.
And swimming in the ocean. Because I'm not gonna lie, every time I go to the beach, I'm always seeing that one person who's super, super duper far out, way farther than they should be, and it doesn't happen to be my people.
Yes, see, funny story. So, growing up, the majority of my friends were always white, and I was always the only black kid. And they would do things, honest to God, that I would just look and just say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And comedians have joked from the end of time about the differences in things that black people will do, activities-wise, versus what my Caucasian persuasion brothers will do. Very different. Like, you don't see black people too much doing skydiving. It's not really an activity that we kind of do too much. We don't risk it. You're not going to see us cliff diving, rock climbing too much. And you're definitely not going to see us way out in the ocean. And it's not because we can't swim. And that's, I think, one of those stereotypes that has been in play for a long time. We can swim. I think we also choose not to swim amongst or amidst
Other things.
certain things such as sharks, jellyfish, sea creatures, I don't know.
Anything else?
Spacecraft, aliens, whatever's underneath that ocean.
That reminds me, over the summer, I went with two of my friends who happened to be white, and we were in Malibu, and I don't know if you guys know this, but in Malibu, the waves they're pretty high, and the ocean's just kind of crazy down there, and they were pretty far into the ocean, and at this time, I had already gone at least like waist deep in, and that was where I stopped, because I knew for a fact that first of all, the water was freezing. The ground.
That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Black people don't like cold water.
Just
gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. It has to be a really hot day.
Lukewarm.
Yeah. Mind you, it was freezing that day too. But I stayed out of the water, and my friends were like, oh, get in, please, just one more time. And I'm like, no, I'm okay, right? And as I'm saying this, a whole sea lion pops up right next to them. I'm like, guys, look! And they're like, what? Look! And they're like, oh, it's just a sea lion. I'm like, it's just a sea lion?
Now tear your behind up too.
It's right next to you. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, y'all can have that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, though. I love the ocean. I love swimming.
No, let me tell you. I've spent so much time surfing, boogie boarding, body surfing in the ocean. I think just as you get older and you become a little bit more aware of what's around you, I think you kind of start to grasp your own mortality a little bit more when you realize, wait a second, this is a dangerous game I'm playing with Mother Nature here potentially.
Especially in the waters here in California. They're not the clearest as well.
Yeah, they're a little murky.
So, yeah, they're a little gross, just a tiny bit. They're a little murky, and that especially should also be a sign to be careful, because if you can't see what's in the water next to you,
until it pops up,
like the sea lion, it was there for a good second. It turned to them and everything. Like it was
like, you do know I'm here, right? I just want to let you know I'm here.
And I'm like, is it just me? Is it just me where it's clicking? Everyone else is like, oh my god, look, it's so crazy. That's their own fault. Anyway.
Let's look up and see if sea lions are dangerous. I'm just curious now. You've just went into a totally different direction there for me. Are sea lions dangerous now? Let's see.
I feel like anything could be dangerous if it really had to be for a wanted to.
Oh, and that just came up immediately as soon as I started putting our sea lions. Sea lions are not typically dangerous, but they may attack if they are ill, feel threatened during breeding season, or if they are desensitized to humans, or if they are harassed. Frequently, humans are at fault when the wild animals attack. Of course. Oh my gosh, look at the little sea lion, it's so cute.
I just left them.
Well, Okay, so I guess we got our answer then. So 2% then of black people get attacked by sharks, and that is probably the reason why they do not make Shark Week. Their stories in that regards might be a little bit more insignificant.
Yeah. All right.
Tonight on Bad Beans Coffee News, 2% of black people do get bit by sharks.
Sorry. Start over.
Tonight on Eyewitness Bad Beans Coffee News, 2% of black people do get bit by sharks.
More on that tonight at 11:01.
One more time.
Why'd you add in the eyewitness? You're on the going off guard. Here.
Tonight on Eyewitness Bad Beans Coffee News, 2% of black people do get bit by sharks.
More on that tonight at 11:01.